All right, hello. So today I'm gonna do a small yap session for Xata's Whisper versus Eclipse versus Roar. Somebody requested it to me in the comments of the Salta video, I believe. I don't remember exactly which video it is because I watch comments from every video and I've lost track by how many there are. Thank you for the support very much. Yeah. So let's get right to it. So what are the differences between Eclipse, Roar, and Xata's Whisper? So Eclipse is a multiplicative damage buff that is stacked with Bane mods and multiplicative CO. So if your gun has multiplicative CO, which is a multiplier, and then your gun has a Bane mod, which is also a multiplier, like Bane of Grenier, these two will stack together on this gun and do hella damage. So right now on the starter, which is multiplicative CO, and about multiplicative CO, small summary is Galvanized Aptitude and Galvanized Shot. These two mods have these stats, instead of being additive like serration, it is multiplied, so it's way higher and acts like a Bane mode on top of a Bane mode, and it generally just completely breaks the game. It's very few guns that have this, and there is a list. I will leave that in the description for anyone interested. And yeah, any gun that has the multiplicative CO from this multiplier of this stat will do way better with Eclipse, and also every gun that you use that is abusing Bane of Grenier mode is also better using Eclipse rather than Roar. And why is that? Well, it's because Roar is a damage multiplier that acts exactly like Bane. It doesn't even stack with Bane, it's additive to Bane. So if I did this and I got 105% Roar, this would make this Bane mode, instead of 55% and 160%. So instead of 1.55 Bane, we have 160% Bane. And basically that works for any kind of faction mode that you may have and anything like that. So that's for Roar. This means in practice, since people don't know how Bane modes work, that your initial damage gets a small multiplier, and then your dots damage get also multiplied by the initial multiplier. So if you do damage over time or dot, then you will get extra damage to your dot from actually dealing extra damage, and then your dot also deals extra damage because of the Bane mode, which means that adding Roar to your build is gonna give you a huge advantage if you have a build that does damage over time. So if we go a build with Hunter Munitions, for example, we will have way better results running Roar than if we run a build without Hunter Munitions and with the Bane of Grenier mode. So this build would require Eclipse to do the most damage by far. So let's showcase this first of all. 20 heavy gunners look fine. The Eclipse is 118%. Per target will be the same on both results. Now that it's stacked, 621k, 1.2 million with the target is stacked, 4 million, highest damage so far 4 million, 3.6 million, so it's not uncommon to see those kind of numbers with Eclipse on the start especially. And now if we go Roar instead, we will see a small difference. So Roar also 118% because now Roar and Eclipse are the same stats, so first kill, pretty much the same. Alright, after the third kill we see 256k damage, 923k damage, 1.5 million on a stacked target, 2.9 million, but as you saw the first kill, we were stacked and we didn't kill the target, so we're missing around 1 million damage compared to Eclipse on good stacks on the target, so that is pretty much showing that Eclipse in this instance is better than Roar. Now, instead, if we go for a build that focuses, let's say, on... Let me make a build real quick. I'll not waste your time, I swear. So we need internal bleeding. And then we also need the galvanized aptitude. So let me put serration, because this was like a build I was testing with and it didn't really work. So this is like something internal bleeding DOT build. So let's see what DOT build does. So the DOT build, we care both about what damage we're dealing, and we also care about the actual damage over time that we'll get. So let's kill the targets. The targets will die a bit slower with this build, because, you know, this is focused around dealing damage over time. Now, first target, we see 22.3k damage. Okay, I missed him. That guy died. That guy also died. Generally, multiplicative CO is just way too insane for these targets, so I might as well get some beefier boys to test the DOT, because these guys just aren't tanky enough. So let's get some Heavy Gunner Eximus and test this. So let's say 130% Eclipse, so it's kind of unfair as well. He still just died in one shot. Okay, but this is just the Salta being broken. I will remove the Raven mod. Okay, 1 million. Okay, well, I mean, sorry, let me remove the Raven mod. This is a merciless build as well, what the fuck. I'm not even running Deadhead. Alright. So obviously, this is just me trying to get killed for the stacks, but this doesn't count at all. Alright, so we should have some stacks, so with status proc we get 700k, 1 million, 300k, 1.1 million, 1.5 million, and a lot of stacks. $254k. It's generally like all over the place because of the galvanized seal, but generally highest one was 1.2 million. So now let's see with Roar. With Roar already, the first one is way stronger. So with one stack on the target, we get 1.9 million. And yeah, 835k, 1.4 million. And bear in mind, the Eclipse was 130%. This Roar is 118% instead. This should have favored Eclipse, but, you know, 2.1 million, we can clearly see that Roar is being heavily favored by DOT damage. So if you're running a beam weapon, if you're running something that deals primarily heat, primarily slash damage, primarily anything like that, you would 100% want to run Roar. So that's about Roar and Eclipse differences. Now let's talk about Xata's Whisper and when Xata's Whisper is the best. So Xata's Whisper is like combining Roar and Eclipse in one, having their multiplier less effectiveness and adding mag bubble to it. So it's a lot of things to take in. So this stacks with Bane modes and double dips them, which is crazy. So this 91% extra damage works exactly like Eclipse's 105% extra damage. However, what Xata's Whisper also does is it adds another instance of damage that also benefits. So it's not benefiting once, it's benefiting twice compared to Eclipse. But it doesn't benefit twice from multiplicative CO. Which means that if we go to this first build and we compare Roar with or Eclipse with Xata's Whisper right now, we will need beefier targets for this 100%. Alright, so this is nothing. Now let's add Xata. So we don't see a lot of differences, but there is an extra number that is dealing damage if this guy survives. So our initial damage is not much different. But you saw on that guy there was an extra 44,000 damage that was dealt. And for example, if I body shot this guy, he's getting one shot right now. Even through body shots. No stacks, body shots are one-shotting them. So it's kind of harder to understand Xata's Whisper and how that works. But just know this is an extra damage, so it's like adding 100% multi-shot to your weapon, and that 100% multi-shot, instead of dealing the normal damage of the weapon, it deals a percentage of the weapon's damage, which can become more than the weapon's damage if you have enough strength. So in our case, 108% Xata's Whisper. So that void damage is then showed as a white number. It cannot crit, it cannot do anything, but it benefits with Bane modes, while your gun also benefits with Bane modes as well. So this is why it is very strong. Now let's go back to the Eclipse build, show if it can actually deal with body shotting these heavy boys. Okay. Oh, my bad. I misclicked. It's whatever. I'll headshot them because they are, you know, they're primed, they have low health, and it's kind of unfair. Now, first target, if he dies from body shot, then as you see, he didn't. He needed the explosion as well to die, and the initial hit wasn't enough to kill him. So Xata's Whisper gave us more damage than Eclipse in the sense that we have added this Bane mode. So if this build was like this instead, and we only had Galvanized Aptitude, then Eclipse would be better than Xata's Whisper. So, to understand this a bit better, balls. Do you use multi-CO plus Bane? Then you go Xata. Do you use multi-CO no Bane? Then you go Eclipse. Do you use DOT? Then you go Roar. Do you want the team-wide buff? You also go Roar. So this is kind of the thing. So this is kind of how it goes in general. So if your weapon has additive CO and you use Roar or you use Eclipse, the difference is literally nothing. There is no difference whatsoever. Either you use Eclipse or you use Roar, it's the exact same thing. So if you don't have a weapon like the Stalta, the Aeolak, or anything like that, then Roar or Eclipse shouldn't be even a consideration, because using either of them is literally the exact same as, you know, like, it doesn't make any difference using either of them. However, Xata's Whisper, if you have a Bane mode on your additive weapon, then you do want to use Xata's Whisper, for sure. Now, one last thing about Xata's Whisper is that it has synergies. Since you add a mag bubble, weapons like my Stalta right here, I have a build just for that, where some people, you know, kind of understood the gimmick of it, but it synergizes with Stalta's projectile speed and punch through. So this means that if we kill these guys, we'll get a kill. And even on one stack, it would just add Xata's Whisper now. You see, one bullet is dealing hella damage because you see 3 numbers from each of those bullets, or 3 to 4 numbers. And this is because the bullet attracts from the target and hits the target again and again and again from Xata's Whisper. And this is why Xata's Whisper plus this build deals so much damage, because as long as you hit the first bullet headshot, the target will not survive whatsoever. All of the bullets will be attracted to their head, and you will just absolutely destroy them. So even though you need a bit of accuracy with it, Xata's Whisper can break guns like this too. Which means that, you know, on a build like this, where we have Aptitude, but we don't have Xata's Whisper, and we go Eclipse, Eclipse will not do nearly as much damage as Xata's Whisper, because Xata's Whisper has the bubble effect. So, one last thing. if you have synergy with gun, Xata. And this is big. Okay? Now, Roar, as you see, has only one instance that it's better than Eclipse, but this is only for a gun that has multiplicative CO like the Salta. If I went with the Baza Prime, that is normal CO, and I added either Eclipse or Roar, we would see zero difference. We might have seen a bit of an advantage towards Roar if our gun did some slash procs, but that's about it. In general, people saying Eclipse dead is not really 100% true. It's dependent exactly on how you use Eclipse. And also, you have to remember that Eclipse also buff ups twice on some stuff, like the Plague Crit Path and general, you know, Exodia Contagion Zones. You can get twice or 4 times the damage. Same with Glaives. Glaives get a huge damage upgrade from for the initial damage when used by Eclipse. They get double proc'd on the explosion, which is a good argument to use it instead of Roar if you're doing a max damage on a hit build instead of DOT build, like Mazoris here. On the Zoris, this is not obviously optimal, but I'm running a full corrosive pure damage build with Corrupt Charge and 3x because I can just go Eclipse and do this. That's why. So, you know, it's not optimal all the time. It's dependent on playstyle, on what you pick. But since I play Salta, and my main build was this, my bad, and my main build is this, Eclipse is always gonna give me the most damage out of this build. If instead, we went ahead and we did Bane mode, and we were fighting Grenier, or if I did this and I fought Orokin, then, you know, I would pick Xata's Whisper, because Xata's Whisper then gives me the most damage. The only real thing that is a downside about Xata's Whisper, and that people don't like it for that reason, is that you need to be accurate. If you accidentally hit an enemy and you don't hit them on their head, then your bullets are doomed to never hit the enemy's head, and you lose out on the multipliers that you may have added on your weapon, like Deadhead, giving you 30% headshot multiplier. So that's about it. I hope you learned some stuff or two. I will do another video on multiplicative versus additive CO, just like this one. Unedited, purely simulacrum stuff, just showing in practice and straight up numbers. And obviously you can call me a simulacrum warrior for doing this, but simulacrum is by far the best way to showcase damage differences on stuff like this. So, once again, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the support in the latest videos, and I hope to see you on the next one.